Hello everyone, Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I have had a couple of days I wish would go away. I have a few other things, but I'm going to tell you about those days first. The first was yesterday, Friday. You know, I have a computer upstairs, the one I'm using at the moment to do the video, and one downstairs which I watch things on when I'm downstairs and do a lot of things on. But this one upstairs is mostly for doing my videos on because it's got a much better camera than the one downstairs. The one downstairs is an HP, this one upstairs is a Dell. And this one upstairs must be about 6 years old now. It's a much better computer than the didn't cost half as much as the one I've got downstairs, the HP one, but it's a much better computer. But anyway, I had my breakfast, you know, I'd been in the shower and a breakfast and everything, and I always go on my computer first thing in the morning after I've had my breakfast and that, before I tidy up and all that, and I check YouTube just to see what's on and how many new subscribers I've got and how much revenue I've made for that day, and just have a quick check to see what new videos are to watch, you know, from other people and things like that. Well, I switched the computer on, and when it came on, the whole screen was covered in white, just white, plain white files. Some of them had names underneath, and the names underneath were something to do with all the shortcuts that I have on my screen for a lot of different things. And I thought, what on earth's going on here? And I was going through the computer trying to work out what they were doing there, why they were there, and I worked out it's something to do with something called a OneDrive. I didn't know much about that, but when I used to click on it before, it had a lot of the folders in it that was, when you go further down on the computer, the same folders, like your pictures, videos, some, you know, things like that, the same sort of folders. But there was a lot of things, you had a lot of the same things in them folders, but a lot of different things in them as well, things that weren't in my other folders of the same name. And I never really knew much about them. They've been new since, I think, Windows 10 and Windows 11. Something like that anyway. But you kept getting messages on my screen saying that the OneDrive is nearly full. You can't put anything else in it, and they want you to buy extra space. I think it's something like that. Of course, I just ignore it. I said, I'm not paying for anything. If I can get something free, I do not pay for anything. And I don't need that extra space. The things are in the computer anyway. So anyway, I'm going through it, trying to find out what all these files and that were, and I thought to myself, you know, there must just be things that in places I've been and that on the internet and all things like that, just delete them. So I deleted them all, but all of my folders, when I clicked on where all the folders are, like where your documents and all those other things, pictures, videos and everything, all had red crosses on them, which means you couldn't do anything with them. And I thought, well, what is that? I didn't understand that either. I know a lot about tech, you know, on computers and everything, but I'd never come across this before. So I googled it, how to get rid of these red crosses, because they mean you can't do something when you get these red crosses. They wouldn't go off when you clicked on them. And so I started googling it, and that was where I found out it was something to do with that OneDrive thing and that. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to reset my computer. There's just too much clot and all that, trying to sort these out. Well, I had deleted all these folders. Well, they weren't folders, I deleted all the files. They were just plain white files, and some had a little blue thing in the middle, like you see files that where you can't see what's actually on them. So I had just deleted them all. So I reset my computer, but kept all the files and everything in it, just reset it. It's back to more or less the factory reset, but with all the files and things I had put into it all, since I've had this computer since the new year. And it took quite a long time to go through the process and everything. And of course, when it came back on, there was loads of shortcuts missing off my screen when I tried to find out. I never thought at the time, but I should have took a photograph of the screen so I could see exactly what shortcuts were on for all the different things I have in my computer. But there was loads of them missing, and then I realised all these things I had been deleting were things that I had put on the computer myself and had made shortcuts myself. The other things were still there. Sometimes when you put something in your computer on the internet, it automatically puts a shortcut there, but some of them don't. So some of them, like YouTube, I had put YouTube up on the screen. I had brought it up and I had put a shortcut in myself so that I didn't have to keep, going through the browser to find it every time I wanted to go on YouTube. So I had a shortcut made on my own channel, and every time I clicked on it, it come up on my channel, and a lot of other things I had in it as well, like that. Well, it was all those things where I had made shortcuts that had all disappeared off my computer, and they were out of the computer, the whole lot. When I had deleted those files that were shown on the screen, I had deleted all those things and hadn't realised it. So anyway, I thought, I'll go back to a restore point, where you can do a restore point on your computer and go back to when your computer was working perfect. So I set a date in for a couple of days ago, which I knew it was working perfectly. It was working perfectly the day before. But I went back 2 days, but it was exactly the same. It took ages to go through it. So I spent nearly all yesterday on my computer trying to sort this flaming mess out. And I eventually realised I'm going to have to go on all those places on the internet and put all those shortcuts back in again myself. So I went through all that, put them all up, and then all them red crosses come back on again. And I was saying, what on earth is this? I couldn't it's something to do with that OneDrive that's keep asking you to pay for more room to put more things. And I thought, I don't need more rooms. They're in my computer. I don't need them in that OneDrive folder. So I managed to sort some things out, and I've got rid of most of those red crosses. But the folders are not the same that they were before. My folder, when I go into pictures, all it used to have in, I used to have my YouTube. I had all my YouTube channels and anything to do that I put in myself, any folders I put in myself. But it was now full of all folders that were in this OneDrive. That's what it's called, OneDrive. It was full of all the pictures, things that had been put in there at one time or another that I don't even have in the computer anymore. So I thought I'm just going to have to leave it, and so I can still use the computer the way I did before, just all these things are just not the way they should be. So I'm going to have to do a complete factory reset on the whole computer, start again from the beginning. So I'm going to take a photograph, because I had put all these shortcuts back in the screen. I worked out which ones were missing, which ones, because I went by my other computer. I looked on this computer, on the Dell, to see what shortcuts I had all on there, so I'd know which ones to put back in the other, because I have the same in both computers. So that's what I did. I put all the shortcuts back in through that way. But I'm going to have to do a complete factory reset, because I can't get rid of these little red crosses that come up on they were coming up on some of the shortcuts on the screen, and they were on all of my folders down the side of the computer. And I know it's something to do with this OneDrive, but I've tried Googling it and working out how to get rid of them, and it gives you a lot of information, and not a single bit of that information that I've tried has worked. So that's the only thing I'm going to do. So Not today. I can work the computer the way it is. I don't have any trouble using it and doing what I normally do on it. I just don't like the way it's been set up. Not the way I had it. And I can't seem to alter things because I keep deleting things out of this pictures folder, the things that should just be in this OneDrive folder and everything and that. So that's one thing that's, you wish would go away. And the second thing, I went shopping to Sainsbury's today. I've done a shopping haul to show you what I got from there. So anyone wants to see what I bought in Sainsbury's, it's on my Sheila shopping channel. But something I don't know what on earth I was thinking of. But when I go shopping in Sainsbury's, they very rarely have a counter on where you can put all your things on, and the girl puts them through the the machine thing, and you pack them up at the end and pay her for what you've got. Then you always see self thing ones, the ones you do yourself. I know how to use them. I can use them. I'm very good at using them most times, but today I could have been done for shoplifting today. I couldn't believe what I did. I had a voucher for £6 for Sainsbury's. It was the last voucher I had. We get a few vouchers, they're usually about £4.50. You usually get about between, sometimes it's four, sometimes half a dozen. I think it was four this time. And I had three for £4.50 for different weeks. And the last week one was for £6 off, which was today. I had up to today to use it. So I thought, I'm going to have to go over to Sainsbury's and use that, or I'm going to lose that £6. So I done my shopping today, went over Sainsbury's, and then, not as usual, there was no like belt things on for to put your shopping on, that, so I had to go to the self-service ones, do them myself. So I put all them through I put my card in, my Nectar card in first, before I started the shop, and make sure I got my points, because sometimes I forget about that Nectar card. It's always the last thing after the shop, and I usually put that in before I put my card in the machine. I usually scan the Nectar card, but sometimes I forget. And I've lost all those flaming points that I could have had a few pence for wherever my shopping came to. So I put everything through. I put the Nectar card in first, and then put everything through, through the machine and on. And then I had to call the girl over because the voucher I had for £6 has to be checked by one of the staff in the shop to make sure it's not out of date or anything like that. She comes in, puts her number in the machine, and then puts the ticket in the box in the machine then. So I did all that, and then I started packing all my shopping, put all my shopping from the trolley into my bags, into the trolley, and that. Then I started walking out of the shop, and I was nearly at the door to go out to get to my car, and the girl come running after me. There's the same young girl that had put the code thing in for the voucher I had, and she stopped me and she says, "Were you on such and such, the machine thing, and I said, well, I don't know what number machine it was." And she says, well, it was such and such amount, she said how much I had spent. I said, oh yes, that's how much I spent, so that must be the one I was on. She says, you haven't paid. What do you mean I haven't paid? She says, you haven't paid, you haven't put your card in to pay. Oh my God. And I say, no, I haven't. I've just put everything in. After I put everything through the machine, I just packed my bag and walked out. So she come back with me to the machine, and I put my card in and paid for everything. But I'm thinking to myself, I've made that mistake. I don't know what on earth I was thinking. It was probably because I had already used my Nectar card first. So I didn't get that out of my purse, and I forgot about putting the card in to pay for it. But you couldn't have got away with it because when you put your nectar card in, it has your, that card has your, you know, in their information thing, it has your name and address on anyway. So anyway, after I paid it, I walked out and I'm saying to myself, you know, they might think I was trying to get out of here without paying. They'll probably be watching out for us next time I come into the shop. Yeah, I couldn't believe what I did. I don't know what on earth was on my mind to do something like that. But I definitely wasn't trying to get out without pay. So that's one little thing. I thought I forgot to bring my phone up, but I haven't because I've got a little bit video to put on here from my phone that I'd done earlier on. I finished this little, I'll show you. The little cardigan I was doing for my friend. I finished it. She said it was for a 6-month-old baby, but she's not giving him it straight away, so I thought I'd better make it about a 19-inch to make sure, you know, he's going to get some wear out of it. So anyway, I've got a little video just to show you a little bit more of this. Show you what I actually done, because the actual pattern is, I've made the pattern up myself, but the stitch on it, you can see the stitch on it, is not my own stitch. I haven't made the stitch up. So I've explained a few things on the little video, so I'm going to put that video on and let you see what I'm talking about. So I'll stop this video, then I'll start it again afterwards. Well, this is how my little cardigan came out for my friend. I made it to measure 19 inches, but I've done it to an 18-inch pattern, but just added one or two more stitches to make it a little bit wider and a little bit longer, because the baby is 6 months old, which is what you do an 18-inch up to. So I need to do a 19, make it 19 inches to last us about 9 months. So that's that, but for anyone interested, this is the pattern that I used. And as you can see, this is a chunky pattern, and it starts at 22-inch. So what I did, I worked it out to fit double knitting wool and for smaller sizes. And looking at this one, I'm not happy with that one, the way it seems to go very narrow up the top, of going up to the neck. So I had to do a little bit, you know, alteration with the neck thing and that. But there are my stitches, my pattern. I've worked this out for myself for just the stitch, the actual pattern of the stitches from the pattern. The rest of it is all mine, and there will be a pattern when I get a few more sizes done. Yeah, I'm busy crossing cables. Oh yeah, that's what I had a cable needle in my mouth for. I'll just cross this cable and then I can put the needle down. So that is the little cardigan that I'm doing. I'll be doing a pattern for it. Probably do one or two more sizes for it. But I thought I'd explain, you know, that it's my pattern. I've worked out the size because the original pattern is from it's knitted with chunky wool and that. And I had to work it out in double knitting to make smaller sizes, because the sizes start from a 22 on that pattern, and I just wanted, because I knit myself a cardigan with that same pattern, but I made the pattern, it was like 2 drop stitches down either side of some garter stitches, and there was only 4 stitches in the actual pattern, but I altered it to 6 to make it for a larger size, you know, an adult size pattern. But I thought it was a nice pattern to do on a little cardigan, and I can call it my own because it's not copied from the pattern, it's just the actual knitting, the pattern that's knitted itself that I've copied the instructions for. So that was just a little bit for today, and I'm busy doing a little bit of this cardigan to try and get this one finished with the other pieces. I have the back, and that's the cable, the other front I've done with the cable on. And when I finish that one, I might get on with this one. And that's another pattern that I have. That's nearly finished actually. When I finish this cardigan, I'll have all the sizes on this one. I have quite a lot of patterns actually that I need to get sorted. It's just finding the time to sit down and write them all out, and I think it's really getting dark out there. We are expecting thunderstorms and heavy rain, and it's just turned really, I can tell, looking, my screen was quite bright when I first started this video, and all of a sudden it's just got dark, and the screen has went darker because of the light disappearing outside from the window. But anyway, that's my little bit for today, so thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another time, unless I end up getting arrested for shoplifting again. So bye for now.